Just keep on pushing forward. Keep leaning forward. This is not the time to fall back with the rest of the world. And so I'd like, if you will, if you join me in this 45th chapter of the book of beginning that we call Genesis. If you take this journey with me as we talk again about lean forward. The interesting thing about this particular episode, sisters and brothers, is that Joseph has the chance to exact revenge on the people that sold him out. Anybody ever been sold out before? Okay, now let's make sure I'm talking to the right crowd. Anybody been sold out before? Joseph now has the chance to exact revenge on the ones who did him dirty, who threw him under the bus, who could have helped him but did not. But rather than exacting revenge, rather than going backwards, Joseph just chose to just keep on leaning forward. Are we together? And so the story goes that there was a man named Abram, and God met Abram and said, if you have nerve enough to believe me, if you are faithful enough to follow me and go where I send you, then I will not only bless you and everybody who blesses you, but I will bless your descendants for generations to come. Somebody already knows that Abram had his name changed to Abraham, and Abraham and Sarah had a son named Isaac, and Isaac was the apple of Abraham's eye, and Isaac was the man in his world. He was rich just like his daddy was rich, and eventually Isaac had a son named Jacob, and Jacob, I tell you, was not so much like his grandfather and his father, for his name meant supplanter or trickster or hustler. Jacob was not so much like the family, but the anointing and the blessing still fell on Jacob. Jacob had sons, and among those sons was a brother named Joseph. And when I tell you Jacob had money, but his house was all jacked up. When we look at Joseph, we think that Joseph had it easy, that everything was all right because he was his daddy's favorite son. But you got to take a closer look at that family, and you will recognize that Joseph did not have it as good as everybody thought. Joseph did not have a positive male role model in his life. Joseph did not have a positive male role model in his life. You remember Jacob? Jacob had 4 women, and Jacob was having babies by 4 women. As a matter of fact, Jacob kept having babies with Leah, and he did not even love Leah. Jacob was not a positive role model. Jacob, even though he had given his life to the Lord, was still a hustler in some sense of the word. So now we got a hustler and a playboy as a daddy, and Joseph is growing up in that house, checking all of this out. If that was not enough, his daddy favored him in front of his brothers, in the presence of his brothers, and so his brothers grew to hate him so much so that they said, we got to get rid of this spoiled, arrogant so-and-so before he makes our lives miserable. So now not only am I trying to figure out life according, even though my daddy is not the man that he's supposed to be, now I have my brothers hating on me so much so that they throw me in a pit and sell me out into slavery in Egypt. Y'all with me in here? Are we still walking together? But while he is in Egypt, sisters and brothers, I want to fast forward real quickly and remind you that Joseph did not have it easy in Egypt. He became a servant. He became a slave. He became a prisoner. And all the while, God just kept blessing him, even though he was a servant in somebody's house, even though he was a slave, even though he became a prisoner because Potiphar's wife with her hot self couldn't keep her hands off the boy. God kept on blessing. Come on, let's go on and keep it real. Y'all think cougars were born yesterday? Ask somebody what a cougar is. I don't have time. And God kept on blessing Joseph, every time they knocked him down, God lifted him up. Every time they tried to press him down, he just kept on, his influence and his impact just kept on expanding until finally, yeah, you remember that he interpreted Pharaoh's dream. Pharaoh said, we can't find a more honorable man in our land. And the next thing you know, Joseph is the man in Egypt. The only one who reports, to whom he reports is Pharaoh. The only one, that he has to make sure that he does what he's supposed to do. The only one that he's to watch, who's watching him, is Pharaoh. Other than that, everybody in the land has to listen to what Joseph says. Are we still together? And while that happens, the famine breaks out in the land, and his brothers eventually have to come to him. Now, I need to back up just a little bit. I'm trying to set the stage for you. You will remember that when Joseph was a teenager, he said to his brothers, there will come a day when you will bow down to me. That day has come. When we get to our text, the day has come that his brothers have to come scraping and kneeling before him because he has what they need. Can I stick a pin right there and just remind somebody of that prosaic point that our elders taught us when we were little? Be careful how you treat people when you on top. They just simply said, because you never know who you gonna need to give you a drink of water. And so the brothers come before him bowing and scraping, and they don't recognize their brother. They don't recognize that this is little Joseph that they threw into a pit. And the word, by the time we get to our text, the word says that Joseph can't take it any longer. Joseph, it's boiling up on the inside of him. Joseph, this thing is coming out of him, even though he's probably trying to hold it in. And when he couldn't take it anymore, Joseph says, it's me. I am Joseph. And if you're not reading carefully, you will go right past that point. But I want to stop right there and remind somebody that if you're going to lean forward, even if you've gone through everything or similar situations that Joseph has gone through, whatever you do, don't lose your self-identity. Don't lose who you are in the midst of your troubles. Joseph says to his brothers, I am Joseph. I'm Joseph. I'm Abraham's grandson. I'm Joseph. I'm your father Jacob's son. I'm Joseph. I'm the one that you were jealous of. I'm Joseph. I'm the one that you threw in the pit. I'm Joseph. I am the one that was sold out into slavery. I'm Joseph. I'm the one that was lied on and lied to. I'm Joseph. I'm the one that had to spend time in jail, even though, I was unjustly convicted and bounced around in the courts and finally ended up in jail. I am Joseph, the one, the one that the Lord had to keep from losing his mind while I was out in unfamiliar territory. I'm Joseph, the one who had my freedom stripped from me, and I could no longer make decisions for myself. Can you see everything this boy has gone through? And even though he has gone through hell and high water, he still said, but I'm still Joseph. And maybe that's what I need to tell somebody today who recognizes and realizes that you have gone through some things in life, but even though you have gone through, when you pat yourself, when you pinch yourself, when you look at yourself in the mirror, you may as well say, but I'm still, put your name right there in the slot. I've been through it, devil, but I am still Erodomain. I've been through some hell. I've been through some high water. I've had some fires to try to burn me, had some friends to walk out on me, had some enemies to surround me. I had the rain to fall in my life. I've been broke, busted, and disgusted, had to go through bankruptcy, had people to hurt me, stab me in my back. Put your name, put your story in there, but I'm still. He says, I'm Joseph, but I like it because he said it does not stop there. Don't get caught up in your pain to explain yourself. He says, I'm Joseph, because you don't recognize me. I'm not the same little boy that you threw into the pit. I'm Joseph now. I'm Joseph. I went to jail, but the Lord just kept lifting me up. I'm Joseph, and I never gave up my gifts and my anointing. I'm Joseph, and I had somebody to lie on me, but I kept believing in the truth of the Lord. I'm Joseph. When Pharaoh couldn't interpret his dream, I'm I'm the one who interpreted his dream. I'm Joseph. I'm the one that the Lord anointed with a strategic plan to keep Egypt out of the famine. I'm Joseph. I'm the one that's running this thing. Now, just in case you don't recognize, you thought I was the one that you threw in the pit, but I'm different now, baby. It's me. Do I have any witnesses in the house? I'm Joseph. I like it, Charlie, because they still didn't get it. They didn't get it, so he says, come closer. And I need to pause right there, baby, because every now and then, when they're trying to fit you into the box that you used to live in, don't argue with them. Just say, because obviously you can't see from way back there. So come closer. I'm not that little arrogant, spoiled boy that you thought you got rid of. Come a little closer. I'm not whining like I was when the last time you saw. Come a little closer. I'm not feeling sorry for myself. Come a little closer. I used to be all soft. You used to walk all over me. I used to be gullible. Come a little closer. Come a little closer and you'll notice that I'm walking in what the Lord has ordained for me. Come a little closer. Come a little closer and you see my skin is a little tougher now. Come a little closer. And you'll see you can't trick me like you used to trick me. You got me one time in the pit. I ain't going out like that no more.